What's up guys, my name is Liam and today we're going to be talking about the Spyre Loque gaming mousepad. So how does this mousepad hold up against the other offerings on the market? Let's find out. Alright guys, so here we have the Spyre Loque gaming mousepad. As you can see, it comes in the beautiful Aegean blue color. I absolutely love the way this mousepad looks. I actually saw a bunch of people receiving samples of this online, and just by the look of it, I definitely wanted to check it out. So when I found out this was being made by a company called Spyre, they're actually located in Australia, I was checking out their website and they seem like they're a very impressive company. First off, this is the only product that they're currently offering right now. They have offered another mousepad before this. I believe it was called a Kamek, and they don't offer that anymore. But from what I hear, they've improved on the build quality of this, and I'm really impressed with it so far. One of the things that really stood out to me when I was looking into this mousepad is how confident that the company is in their products. They actually offer a 10-year warranty on the mousepad, so they don't guarantee that this mousepad is going to last forever or anything like that, but they truly believe in the build quality and the durability of the mousepad so much that if it were to wear out or go bad or anything like that, they would replace it for you. I thought that was very unique that they're going so above and beyond like that. That's some pretty bold claims, especially for a product like this mousepad. This mousepad is only $28. So granted, with shipping, I had to pay $15 for shipping. It came out to like $42 after all was said and done, but that's a pretty incredible deal. And to be honest with you, $28 is probably one of the cheapest mousepads that I actually own, and I am really blown away by the quality. So let's take a look at it here. As far as the stitching on the side of the mousepad goes, it's really great stitching. The stitching is raised slightly above the mousepad itself, but I didn't notice any type of issue with it. It's really soft. It didn't like rub up against my forearms or anything like that, cause any issues. It never really seemed to bother me or get in the way. As far as the base on the mousepad goes, it's pretty much a standard rubberized base. It comes rolled up in this tube and packaged nicely, and when I pulled it out, it was able to lay flat on my desk with no issues at all. But overall, the base, it feels great. It's nice and grippy, and I don't have any complaints there. This mousepad is 3mm in thickness, and in terms of performance, I feel like it's very similar feeling to the Artisan Mid pads. There's a nice firmness to the pad, and it gives you a consistent glide throughout. So when it comes to the actual surface of this mousepad, it was actually wrongly labeled as a Cordura pad. So this is actually not a Cordura pad. The surface of it is actually made out of polyester. As far as the surface of this mousepad, it's pretty identical in the performance in terms of speed along the X and Y axis. I do feel like when rubbing my fingers across this mouse pad that the X axis is a bit smoother than the Y axis, and that's just because of the way that the material is sewn. You get more of the texture of the material when you go along the Y axis. The logo, which is located in the bottom right hand corner of the mouse pad, doesn't seem to cause any interference at all whatsoever. I'm not sure if this is painted on or whatever. It's not raised up from the mouse pad or anything like that. It blends in nicely. Let's go ahead and drop a sound test here. That way I can give you an audio cue on what I'm feeling here with the X and the Y axis. So when it comes to testing different mice on the mouse pad, I have noticed the obvious, which is if you do have bigger mouse feet on this type of a texture, it actually does give you a more controlled and a slower experience on the glide. Coming over to the Death Adder V3 Pro, I do feel like it's got a pretty similar glide to the Vaxi. However, since it does have the smaller skates, I do notice the glide does feel a little bit smoother. And when it comes to mice like the Lamzu Atlantis Mini with the smaller feet, I do feel like it does have a bit of a quicker glide. As far as the performance of this pad goes, I feel like it's somewhere between a control pad and between a speed pad. It's not as fast as most speed pads out there that I've tested it against, but it is quicker than most of the control pads that I have. Upon using this pad, what you do notice is there is quite a bit of static friction. As you go to leave with the mouse, you do notice resistance, but once the mouse gets up and moving, it does have a pretty quick glide. I did notice that when testing this mouse pad in games like Apex Legends, when you're getting really down and deep and tracking and making a lot of quick micro adjustments, it does have a slower overall feeling going left, right, due to the static friction of the mouse pad. Overall, this mouse pad is definitely doable in Apex Legends. It plays great in games like Call of Duty. Probably wouldn't be my first recommendation for slow-paced games like Valorant and CSGO. However, I definitely feel like you can pull it off and make it work just depending on whatever your playstyle is. I have to say that when I was testing this mouse pad out and playing games, I was actually really blown away by the fact that this mouse pad only comes in at $28 and it feels like a really great high quality pad. So when it comes to my current main mouse pad, the Lamzu Energon, I feel like with the Lamzu Energon, it overall feels like a much quicker pad, having almost zero static friction when you take off, but having the plushness to be able to push down and stop on a dime with how smooth the surface is. When it comes to the Spyre Loque, there's definitely a lot more static friction to where your mouse takes off slowly before it starts gaining up speed, and there definitely is a bit more of a texture on the Spyre Loque compared to the Lamzu Energon. When comparing it to the Artisan Hyate Otsu xSoft, the Artisan pad definitely has much more of an abrasive texture on it and overall feels rougher, whereas the Spyre Loque does feel a little softer. With the abrasiveness of the Artisan pad, there's almost no static friction when the mouse goes to leave. There is slightly, but hardly any at all. Overall, when it comes to these two, I definitely feel like the Spyre Loque has a lot more stopping power and is overall a little slower with a bit more static friction starting out. So the Hyate Otsu, in my opinion, is a much faster pad than the Spyre Loque. Out of all of the mouse pads that I've tested, the closest one that it performs to is the Artisan FX Zero in the mid version. The texture on the Artisan Zero is a bit rougher than the Spyre Loque. They both have very similar static friction, and I do feel like the Spyre Loque does have slightly a bit more speed once you start moving the mouse. These two pads have very similar stopping power, and though they're nowhere near being a one-to-one clone from one another, the performance overall does feel very similar between the two. Okay, so my final thoughts on the Spyre Loque gaming mouse pad. I think this mouse pad is awesome. I think it's sweet. It's a great value. Looks incredible. The build quality on it is phenomenal. I recommend this mouse pad for anybody that doesn't necessarily like the rough surface of the speed pads out there. Maybe if you tried something like a Heian or Hyate Otsu and you're looking for a little bit more control and a little more stopping power, this would definitely be a good option for you. Love what the company is doing. I highly praise them. Super durable mouse pad, and if it's not, they got that great warranty that, you know, they're living up to. So absolutely great stuff here from them, and for such a cheap product, really impressive. So my hat's off to them. Super excited to see where the company goes. I hope nothing but great things for them moving forward. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and for all your support. If you have any questions or anything else I can help you out with, please let me know down in the comments below. And aside from that, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. See you soon.